Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60 and Alex from Reporter Fine Media. Today we're going to be talking on the world is going batshit crazy.
Unbelievable.
So Alex, you've been watching the news lately?
Well, I mean, from what I'm watching, it's absolutely insanity. I mean, I try not to watch it, to be honest with you. I try not to watch it, but I mean, the family that lives in Canada right now.
Do they have toilet paper? Hey?
They did, actually, funny enough, they did a rush to get toilet paper. Yes, they did, and water.
You see, and that's what turned my mind and Wei Fang's mind against going back to Canada. Everybody in Canada was saying, "Oh, you got to go back to Canada." They're calling all Canadians back to Canada. And yes, my spidey sense was tingling. I said, "There's no freaking way I'm going back to Canada." Watching the news, watching my daughter, they had to look and look and look just to buy toilet paper. They closed the borders of Canada today to everybody except for Canadian citizens and permanent residents. How does that impact your ass?
Well, guys, you'll love this. I had quite a one-on-one with my mother last night, and I said, "Mom, you realize that I'm married to a European girl from Eastern Europe, and she's not a Canadian." And she said, "Well, immediate family can come to Canada. Surely they can." Well, I'm going to play this little bit for you guys. Let's just stop here. I called the Canadian Border Agency yesterday and asked them. There you go. Oh, here we go. I'm going to play it for you guys.
Direct from the Canadian Border and Service Agency. Resident and Canadian permanent or Canadian citizen and Canadian permanent resident card holders have the right of entry. Anyone else? Yeah, it's probably no. Okay. No problem. I appreciate your time. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So if you're not a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada, you cannot enter Canada unless you're an American. Now, I find this really freaking strange, just for the fact that the governor of Ohio came on the news the other day, and their chief medical officer for the state of Ohio, and they say that they have at the minimum 100,000 people walking around the state of Ohio with COVID-19, with the coronavirus. But we won't let anybody else in the country except for Canadian citizens and permanent residents or people from the United States that are walking around from Ohio. And that's just a small state, guys. Ohio is only Ohio. It's sort of like Saskatchewan. It's it's got more than Saskatchewan for population, but you know what I mean. It's more of a rural place. But they're going to allow Americans across the border. How stupid is that? Trudeau, you stupid bastard, you.
I mean, if I was arriving in Canada, if I flew back there today with my wife, I'd have to leave her at the border.
Well, you could just leave her with, she's Eastern European, leave her with a couple bottles of vodka and she'd be fine.
But
and a winter coat.
But no, in all seriousness, this shows me that, not too many people can probably understand what this is, but I'm a Canadian, I'm married to a foreigner.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
You know what it's like? It takes years. If you don't live in Canada and you're living outside of Canada for many years, she's not entitled to a Canadian citizenship. No, you know the terms.
You actually have to be living in Canada when you're sponsoring your wife to be a Canadian citizen. Right. Or it just doesn't happen, and you're not moving back to Canada.
I'm not moving back, but I haven't asked anything from Canada. But all I'm saying is, if today or for some reason I decided to travel back to Canada, and let's say this was, and I don't, this stuff that's going on, it's really shitty that it's happening. It's really shitty that it's affecting people. People are dying. It's terrible.
Well, not a lot of people are dying yet in Canada, but yeah, and if they are, they're old.
Let's say this was the mother of all end of earth, dark times, dark days, right? I now know, as a Canadian, where my wife stands when it comes to situations as serious as this. It's, come on in, Alex, and you stay out.
There is no heart there, and the rules are there for a reason. But you see, you think it would be economic suicide for Canada to say no Americans? You think that's why they did that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's be honest.
That's what it comes down to. Could
saw
you
that in the
see?
small
Could you
print.
see Trump's nose just go poof over here? If Trudeau said yes, everybody, including Americans, are not allowed into Canada because of this. Close that southern border. Build the wall. Then what? It would be like, that's not perfect. That's not perfect at all. And have you seen all of the countries shutting down? Norway shut down. Well, Iran and Italy for sure have
Denmark.
shut down. Denmark shut down. The United States has stopped travel from Europe. Everybody has got that. We're secluding ourselves from the rest of the world, but what they don't understand is when it's all over the place, when it's everywhere in the world, shutting borders doesn't really make much sense, does it?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Like, you know, and what's this doing to the stock market? And you know, stock market is where a lot of the older people, not Gweilo 60, all my money was in cash, so it didn't fizz on me. I'm still buying beer.
Well, it's interesting because how we got to this situation is when you and I were talking, I was supposed to be coming to Nanning, late February, and I said, Gweilo.
Then I bailed on you.
No, you didn't bail. You were going under. It was China was in the middle of shutting down.
I was
right?
stressed.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
So, Gweilo came here and love having you here. It's been a fantastic time having you here. It's been great. Wonderful, wonderful guy. And
we're leaving tomorrow. Oh, it's going to be hard, man.
Breaking my heart.
We've been here for over 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
And I can't wait till you come back. On the stock market. So when you were when I was talking with you, I started to notice. I said, "Wait a second here. This isn't right. Why does the stock market keep going up when this is such a serious thing in China?" So I immediately adjusted my portfolio to kind of go on the short side of the market. And basically what that means is that I'm anticipating the market's going to go down. So a week went by, Americans kept pushing up their market, and I said, guys, this is, China.
And I was already here in
You were
Thailand
already
at
here.
that time. What was it? Was it sitting at about 3,900?
No, the Dow was about 29,000.
Okay, what is it now? 20,000.
20-ish.
So it's
21,
lost 30%.
Almost 30%, yeah.
Well,
It got hammered.
see, if that was my portfolio as a retired person, I might have to make more videos.
Like, Kurt, it's not just about the stock market. And, when I'm seeing the market, and I don't want to be, haha, I told everybody, I told you so. That's not my intentions. My intentions is you have to look at what the impact this is doing. This doesn't just impact the stock market. This impacts airlines. So it's a domino effect. Airlines aren't flying. Tour packages, tour guides aren't making money, waiters, waitresses, all these people in the service industry.
Alberta's not selling their oil to make gas because the airlines aren't using the gas, and the people running their cars.
And then there's a price war on the barrel of oils between the Saudis and the Russians.
And that's that attitude. It's us against them, and you see that everywhere in the world now. And I didn't think I'd see it in Canada, but it reared its ugly head last night when they put the travel restrictions. On March the 13th, they came out. The Liberal government came out and they said travel restrictions don't work. On March the 16th, they came out and said we're putting in travel restrictions. That's a Canadian government.
After that announcement happened, America and Canada, they're number one trade partners. Immediately the market started to hit the floor. Sure, you might see these spectacular rebounds. It's nice to see a rebound in a market, but a market that's been smashed 9,000 points, 1,000 point update,
exactly.
It doesn't.
Let's walk. It's getting a little warm. I think it's cooler down by the river.
So,
but
I think of the longer effects here. Okay, you've unwinded an economy that was relatively doing okay. So let's see what sectors it's hit. Hospitality sector hit. Cruise lines it's hit. Kids now have to stay home. That means the parents need to babysit the kids or find a babysitter for the kids. If they can't do that, I don't know what they're going to do. School's been cancelled in 2 provinces of Canada that I know. That means all the way from kindergarten to grade 12, you're moving on to the next year.
Actually, I think everywhere except for Saskatchewan, but Saskatchewan will change your mind.
Saskatchewan went in last night.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I think it's everywhere.
So that means all the students, they move forward. Okay, got that. So now, what else does it affect? All the waiters, waitresses, hotels,
people that are working,
lines?
people that are working in cinemas, to people that are working in retail stores, because walking in retail stores, I think, are being impacted because nobody wants to go there. So I think it's hitting everything. I think it's hitting everything in
Taxi
every
drivers?
country. Well, exactly.
Uber drivers?
Bus drivers, passenger trains. Boy, they forgot about that Trans Mountain Pipeline in Canada, didn't they? All it takes is one coronavirus in the world to stop. Oh, have you heard of any protests in Hong Kong lately?
Nope.
No.
Secrets.
You know, so it's even stopped all of the protests around the world. So I guess the people that were protesting are spending their time buying toilet paper by the
water.
truckload. Doing this video with Alex from Reported by Media today is just sort of telling the world what we see as, I guess, international travelers, people that live in different areas of the world. We're not sort of stuck in Canada listening to the CBC. We're not stuck in the United States listening to CNN or Fox News, or in Europe, in England. Now it's not Europe, you know, it's the UK again, listening to the BBC. We sort of have more of a world view of it, and we're sort of on the outside looking in, and that makes a big difference in what we see. We're seeing every country for itself now. I think it started with the United States blocking air carriers to China, and it sort of just ballooned, and it's disturbing to see it. Canada shutting down the rest of the world except for the United States is something that I thought I would never see. All of these different countries shutting down and sort of internalizing is scary, because it means that they're all panicking and totally afraid of what's coming down the tube at them. As China's coming out of this, the rest of the world is just going into it.
Different way, Kurt, though. I mean, much different. I mean, China went in there and said, look, here's what we're doing. You got this amount of time. Get ready. They mobilized the army. They mobilized, the private sector and all the rest, the public sector, to get ready to go. All hands on deck. Yeah. Nurses, doctors. Wuhan set up hospital 8 days in full quarantine. 60 million people. Country shut down. And lock and loaded, and look where they are today. Well,
exactly, and they're coming out of it right now. But I watch the presidential, the Democratic presidential thing between Biden and Bernie, and Biden was on the mark with the comment he made that if he was president today, he would call out the army to make sure that this is done. And I think he's taking a page out of the Chinese playbook when he says that, because it was so effective. That there hasn't been, in 15 days in Guangxi province, 80 million people, there hasn't been one new case in Guangxi province. This is where we're going back to tomorrow, into Nanning. Hubei, I think there was 4 new cases. Yeah. Like, come on now, you guys. And you get into a place like Spain yesterday, 1,000 new cases.
That's just testing. Probably a lot more to go.
Well, that's just it. That have been tested and been positive. So as the world turns, China's coming out, the rest of the world's going in, and we're not quite sure where this puppy's going to end, but that's for another video. So, as always, that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget to hit my bell, because if you hit the bell and comment, if you comment
and resubscribe,
yes, and don't forget to go over to Alex's page and watch his stuff and subscribe to him too, because I'd like to see his subscriber count jump. I'd like to see my subscriber count jump. 60% of everybody that watches my videos is not a subscriber, so I'd like that to change. If you're not a subscriber, if you are a new subscriber, put it in your comment thing, and when you make a comment, I'll get back to you. I promise. How's that for? That's going to take me a couple hours a day, But the idea is, thanks for watching. Oh, and never forget to put a couple bucks on the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. It's for poor rural Chinese children. They just need a helping hand, and you can do that. So, thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye now.